Center. Face. Post. Colors. Green stand. Arms.
Please remain standing as Jasper DiPlacido, the Sons of the American Legion Squad 90, comes forward and leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard. Follow.
Please be seated. We'll start our program today with Eleanor Halverson, chaplain of the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 90, leading us in our opening invocation.
Good morning, and the Lord has blessed us with a very blessed nice day by the shores of Lake Superior to commemorate the Memorial Day. Memorial Day, what is it? It's not loud sales, it's not mattress sales, it's not car sales, it's not a flashy parade. It's the beginning of summer. Memorial Day is the most somber day of the year. That commemorates with the Christian All Saints' Day. True martyrs to the cause, our freedom, they make the ultimate sacrifice of their own lives for those of us who have followed them. How do we thank you for those who shed their blood and who shed their lives for us, for those of us who came after? Be good citizens. Support and contribute to your community, your military, fire, police, medical. If you see that someone needs help, offer. Waiting is to be asked. It loses the value and effort, it diminishes it. Remember and hold to those traditions which honor our heritage and history. Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence, and Veterans Day. They each have their own meaning, purposes, and ideals. We mourn those who have fallen. We honor lives and memories. We thank them for their sacrifices and appreciate the freedom for us. Dear Lord, help us remember and follow their sense of duty and to appreciate these sacrifices they made for us. This sacrifice allows me to be happy I'm an American every day. Cherish the freedoms we are privileged to have every day of our lives. Remember. Amen.
Thank you, Eleanor. Next, we will have our annual proclamation from the City of Ashland for Memorial Day. Our mayor could not make it today, so our American Legion Commander Tom Hankey will read his proclamation.
Whereas, since 1868, Memorial Day has been a uniquely American holiday in which we honor the memory of our brave veterans who have given their lives in defense of our freedom, and whereas every man, woman, and child in this great nation owes a debt of gratitude to those who have served their country so selflessly, and whereas we still believe today that the blessings of liberty require constant vigilance and sacrifice, and whereas Memorial Day is our most solemn day of remembrance, and whereas today we honor the men and women who made the supreme sacrifice and acknowledge and protect the ideals they died for, so their sacrifice shall not be in vain. Now therefore, Matthew McKenzie, by virtue of the authority vested in him as mayor of the city of Ashland, does hereby proclaim this day, Monday, May 29, 2023, as Memorial Day in Ashland, Wisconsin. Furthermore, we join with those gathered here and urge all citizens of this community to celebrate the members of our military who have bravely served their country in all parts of the world. Let us also hold high those who are currently defending and protecting our country, our freedom, and our way of life. Issued this 29th day of May, 2023. Matthew McKenzie, Mayor, City of Ashland.
Thank you, Tom. Now we're going to have a musical selection for the Ashland High School Band. Thank you very much. I'm now pleased to present today our keynote speaker for our Memorial Day program. Our speaker today is Mr. Kevin Johnson. Mr. Johnson graduated from the Augusta High School class of 1983 and went on to receive his Bachelor of Science degree from the University of the State of New York. He has served in both the United States Marine Corps and the Wisconsin Army National Guard, recently retiring as an infantry company first sergeant after deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan. He's married with 2 sons, currently serves as a County Veteran Service Officer for Bayfield County. Please welcome our 2023 Memorial Day keynote speaker, Mr. Kevin Johnson.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning. It's humbling to stand here before all of you to speak about the 1.4 million American heroes we honor on this special day. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to speak with you today. Thank you for being here. Sincerely, thank you. As I was preparing for today's program, I started thinking about the significance of Memorial Day. I'll be honest, those thoughts soon took me down a deep rabbit hole that took me a while to get back out of. I started by wondering what theme or aspect of Memorial Day I might choose to talk about. Would I make it personal or keep it general? Things quickly degraded to thoughts like, I wonder how many people will be there. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Now, even though I knew there would be an impressive turnout here in Ashland, I began to explore thoughts about how many people are not here. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm going to assume there are thousands of programs across our country this morning. And probably hundreds of thousands of Americans are in attendance, which sounds great. But then I thought, wait a minute. There are hundreds of millions of Americans in this country. What's everyone else doing? Albeit many are working, traveling, or otherwise engaged, that still leaves millions that have chosen not to participate in honoring and remembering those Americans that have given their all for this country. My thoughts turn to why. Why do so many seem so apathetic to the price that's been paid for their freedom and liberty? And there it is. It's the freedom and liberty that's been purchased for each and every one of us that provides the choice. Thank you for choosing to be here. While there is nothing unpatriotic about an auto race, a trip to the beach, or a barbecue, we are here today to reflect on the true meaning of Memorial Day. Let us remember that tyrannical regimes have been toppled and genocide stopped because Americans sacrificed life and limb. Let us remember that terrorist plots were foiled and killers brought to justice because Americans were willing to pay the highest price. Let us remember that without a U.S. military, the world would be a far more oppressive and darker place. Let us remember that freedom never had a greater friend than the American soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, and Coast Guardsman. Memorial Day is a special holiday, a single day during which we honor the spirit of all who died in service to our nation, and whom we continue to remember and honor in our hearts. We also think about their families and friends, perhaps people we know, and we mark this special day by celebrating their legacy while grieving their absence in our lives. President Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." Of course, today we equally honor servicemen and women, but the sentiment remains crystal clear. A key component of our nation's greatness lies in our ability to honor, appreciate, and cherish through our actions and our memories all those who died to ensure our freedoms. One such hero is Staff Sergeant Javier Gutierrez. I worked with Staff Sergeant Gutierrez out of Operations Base Fenty near Jalalabad in Afghanistan. Victim of an insider attack, Taliban that had infiltrated an Afghan Army unit, Staff Sergeant Gutierrez was the last U.S. service member killed in Afghanistan. That is, until our withdrawal in 2021. I was with him when he died, and not a day goes by that I don't think of and remember him. It's a shame that 13 more were lost there a year and a half later. The second name that is on my mind this Memorial Day is Specialist Hunter Scheel. Specialist Scheel was a forward observer attached to our infantry company on my last deployment to Afghanistan. I was Specialist Scheel's first sergeant, and it was my job to keep him safe, which I did to the best of my abilities. My entire company returned home from that deployment without casualty, thank God. We all returned to and got on with our lives after we got back. Specialist Scheel had a strong desire to serve his community, just as he had served his country. So he went through the police academy and became a police officer dedicated to serve and protect. His future was bright until he was senselessly gunned down last month near Cameron, Wisconsin. He'll never be a statistic of war, but was killed in uniform, protecting a community he cared for deeply. In situations where there is a high price of human life, it can be far too easy to look back and ask, was it worth it? This question, sometimes politically loaded, but is often asked of family members or war buddies of our fallen heroes. Marine Corps General John Kelly offered a unique perspective. A veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan himself, General Kelly lost his youngest son, First Lieutenant Robert Kelly, while conducting combat operations in Helmand Province, Iraq, in 2010. General Kelly was surprisingly asked if the loss was worth it by a reporter with National Public Radio. He said, quote, "I think what I tell families now is the only person really that has a right to answer that question, was it worth it, is the young man or woman that lost their life. And I believe what they would say is that they were doing what they wanted to do. They were where they wanted to be." So that's the answer, I think, to that question. It's not for us that survived to answer it. I think it's for those young people to answer, and I think they do answer it with their actions and obviously their lives. Unquote. Who can deny the heartfelt wisdom and logic of General Kelly's words? But just as we should not presume to speak for the fallen, we can make the country for which they have died worthy of that cost. One that honors their sacrifice and epitomizes the ideals enshrined in our Constitution. General Kelly is right. Was it worth it is not a question for us to answer. Instead, we should commit ourselves to make it worth it. We should insist that America remain the land of the free, a land where patriotism trumps politics, where the American flag is displayed proudly and frequently, and where military veterans are society's true celebrities. We must never forget the families of our fallen. Long after the battlefield guns have been silenced and the bombs stop exploding, the children of our fallen warriors will still be missing a parent. Spouses will be without their life partners. Parents will continue to grieve for their heroic sons and daughters that died way too soon. We need to be there for them as fellow American citizens. No one can replace these fallen heroes, especially in the eyes of their families, but we can honor their sacrifice by making it worth it. By fully appreciating all the things in life we enjoy, with faithful understanding that this was the true desire of those that sacrificed everything for our way of life. How can we truly honor the fallen for the gifts they've bestowed upon us? When we think about the brothers and sisters that have lost a sibling, we need to work to be better siblings ourselves. When we worry about the parents that have lost a child or children that have lost a parent, we must turn to our parents and children and actively strengthen those relationships. Be a better friend, be more involved in the community, etc., etc. Do not ignore or take for granted the gifts we have received in this life. Please work to honor those that have sacrificed so that this life could be what they dreamed it might be. While the was it worth it question can only truly be answered by those who made the sacrifice, it is up to all of us to make it worth it. By definition, Memorial Day is a day devoted to the remembrance of those that have given their last breath in service to this nation. It is a reminder that our freedoms cannot and should not be taken for granted. One last thought. A past Memorial Day theme came to mind. Memories of the past, strength for the future. This theme resonated with me. Memories of the past, strength for the future not only tasks us with remembering the past, but provides us with a course of action. In addition to embracing and sharing our memories, we are to use these memories as a source of strength and power as we move forward. This theme gives us hope and promise. Our history is proven. Proof that our strength as a nation will continue to be a global beacon of freedom and democracy, no matter the price. So let us take time to remember and honor the men and women who have given their lives for this great country. Let us reflect on their courage, their sacrifice, and their dedication to a cause greater than themselves. And let us recommit ourselves to the cause of freedom, justice, and democracy, so that the legacy of our fallen heroes will live on for generations to come. We continue to mourn their loss, but most of all, we celebrate their lives. Again, thank you for being here today to celebrate the lives and legacies of those we have lost but never forgotten, and always, always revered. May God bless our fallen heroes and the loved ones they've left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Very heartfelt and meaningful words. Thank you for taking the time to spend with us today. Now I'd like to call up our vocalist today, member of our American Legion post, known to many of you, Mr. Frank Ludwig.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my family and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and you can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, for at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. To the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. There's a pride in every American's heart, and it's time to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God
Frank. Now, I'm going to call up John Kovach, past Post 690 commander, and his wife Rita, as we remember those veterans who were with us last Memorial Day, but have since left.
Dwight Ames, Oscar Anderson, Richard Behringer, Richard Belisle, Robert Belsky, John Bitzer, William Compton, Jerome Deering, Robert Deverell, Robert Feldmeyer, Robert Formella, Wendell Frisky, Richard Gehrman, David Harper, Lisa Hintz, William Ingram, Ronald Jagger, Frank Janasek Jr., Dennis Kabasa, Lloyd Koosman, David Kubak, Gerald LaGuire, James Ludak, Thomas Lukasavage, Richard Magnuson, Edgar Martin, Roy Newby, Lowell Nutt, Leroy Nyland, Richard Ovaska, David Parent, Wayne Peterson, Sherman Secord, Herman Sense, George Setsky, Donald Smart, Edward Sorrell, Orville Swanson, Kenneth Venn, Mervyn Tody, Kenneth Vandeventer, Gerald White, Barbara Zilmer, and Thomas Zinneker.
Now, we have special presentations from our local schools in memory of our fallen service members. Representing Our Lady of the Lake Catholic School, Riel Pietrocatelli.
I present this wreath on behalf of Our Lady of the Lake Catholic School.
Representing the Ambleside School, Brooklyn Benson.
And it is an honor to present this wreath on behalf of the Ambleside School of Ashland in memory of and honor of our service members and their families who paid the ultimate price for our freedom.
Representing Lake Superior Elementary, Noah McEwen.
Hello, my name is Noah McEwen. My father, Patrick McEwen, served our amazing country while enlisted in the Army. I once heard that a true soldier fights not because he hates what's in front of him, but because he loves what's behind him. So on behalf of Lake Superior Elementary, I present this wreath in memory of our departed military service members who fought because they loved what was behind them.
Representing Ashland High School, Isaac Haskamp.
On behalf of Ashland High School, I present this wreath in memory of the service members who left us.
We have an additional recognition where we want to recognize those Gold Star families who lost somebody in wartime. Gold Star families are those families where a family member has made the ultimate sacrifice by giving their life for their country while in active service for the military. Today, we have, representing Ambleside School, we have Jackson Brown, who will be presenting a special tribute to Rita Kovach, who is representing Gold Star families. Mr. Brown?
Thank you for your service.
I accept this for all Gold Star families. Thank you, Jackson.
I'm just gonna, I don't know if everyone saw what we have a bouquet of patriotic flowers and a card that he colored for Rita. Nice. Thank you. Thank you to all the students representing their student bodies today. Now we go back to the Ashland High School Band for another musical selection. think we have one more vocal selection from Mr. Frank Ludwig.
You're all going to enjoy me in singing God Bless America. I'm not going to do it by myself this time. And we're going to have to do this a cappella. I'll get it started. When I get to the chorus during the end. When the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land so free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean's white we'd form. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. It sounded good. Thank you.
As we move to our closing, I'll call Eleanor Hallerson, the chaplain of the American Legion Auxiliary, back up here. She's going to read a poem written by our own John Kovach for our closing. After that, you're going to hear our rifle salute and taps. I invite any service members and veterans, when they hear the command to present arms prior to taps, to join us in one final salute as we remember our fallen comrades. Eleanor?
I'm very honored to read this poem. Up on the hill, there is a place that's hallowed and still. It's where soldiers rest up on the hill. Some are young and some are old. Their stories of courage were never told. They fought in places that were warm and cold. As young men, they were brave and bold. All of their tomorrows were their sacrifice. They paid the price for freedom at a terrible price. They did what they did because they heard the call. Those American heroes, they gave their all. Each Memorial Day, a flag is put where they lay. Remember the fallen on this solemn day. And as we depart, may God bless us and keep us till we meet again.
Please stand while we retire the colors. Color guard, retire the colors.
Center, face. Present, arm. Order, arm. Retired, colors. Center, face. Forward, march.
That concludes our service. Thank you for coming to our program. On behalf of the Chequamegon Veterans, I'd like to thank the Ashland High School Band for their performance. I also want to thank our vocalist, Frank Ludwig. I want to mention John Kovach for his personally written poem for today. Thank you very much. That was very touching. I also want to thank our student representatives from the schools in our area. Thank you very much for participating. I also want to recognize JD Base Entertainment for the sound and the photograph that will be on your site later today for people. Thank you very much. From here we're going, this is our formal community program, but we have 10 cemetery services after this. Our first one will be it's in your program. Our first one will be at Mount Hope at 11:45 in the old Spanish American War Civil War Veterans plot. So the rest of the schedule for that is in your program. Thank you again for attending today.